What happens when the person you fear the most is also the one you love the most? The story in Emmerdale is entering a breathtakingly tense phase as Arthur Thomas begins to lose control, and this time the consequences are far more serious than a simple argument. It's a fall, quite literally, that could change everything. Ray and Celia may no longer be in the village, but the damage Ray left behind continues to haunt those who remain. To Arthur, Ray isn't just a dead man. In his mind, he represents destruction, the pain and chaos his family was forced to endure. So when Arthur discovers that his mother, Laurel, attended Ray Walter's funeral, he can barely process it. From his perspective, why say goodbye to someone who caused so much suffering? Why offer one final act of kindness to a so-called monster? But for Laurel, it's not as simple as Arthur believes. Attending the funeral wasn't about forgiveness, and it certainly wasn't about forgetting. It was about closure. It was her way of drawing a line under the past, a necessary step if she is ever going to move forward without being haunted by unresolved pain. With her strong faith and the losses she has already faced in her life, Laurel feels she must confront her grief head-on, rather than run from it. That difference in perspective ignites a fierce conflict between mother and son. Laurel tries to talk. She tries to explain. She even carries a sense of guilt, feeling partly responsible for allowing Ray into their lives in the first place. She wants to calm Arthur, to understand him, and to be understood. But Arthur is no longer in a place where he can truly listen. Emotions that have been building for so long finally erupt. Words grow sharper. The atmosphere turns heavy and suffocating. And then, in one brief moment of lost control, everything crosses the line. In a burst of anger, Arthur forcefully shoves Laurel. No one could have predicted how devastating the outcome would be. She loses her balance, falls down the stairs, hits her head violently, and is left unconscious. A horrifying accident unfolds in mere seconds. The situation becomes critical. Laurel is rushed to the hospital. A head injury makes everything uncertain, and from this point on, a new chapter of the story begins. But that fall is not just physical. It raises a deeply painful moral question. What will Laurel do next? Will she tell the truth, that her own son pushed her? Or will she stay silent to shield Arthur from the judgment of the entire village? A mother's instinct is often to protect her child at any cost. Yet when protection means hiding the truth, the line between love and enabling begins to blur. If Laurel chooses silence, could that decision unintentionally open the door to a darker cycle of violence? And if she speaks out, what will remain of their relationship? Perhaps the most unsettling irony is this. Arthur once labeled Ray a monster, yet he has now committed an act that carries its own destructive weight. Sometimes it's easy to recognize darkness in others, but far harder to see it within ourselves. This storyline is not simply about a fall. It's about the collapse of trust, of control, of emotions that have been suppressed for too long. And what comes next may be even more painful than the incident itself. What do you think Laurel should do? Tell the truth, or continue protecting her son? If you want to stay updated on the latest twists and deeper analyses of Emmerdale, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.